Hello everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. For our webinar today, we'll be discussing advertising on ChatGPT. Natural intelligence was one of the first advertisers in the pilot among 250 international advertisers, and we're excited to have Nancy Harnett, Head of Global Growth Partnerships at HubSpot, here with us to share HubSpot's brand perspective as the #1 advertiser on ChatGPT. We're committed as ever to delivering performance for you, our partners. What's expanding is where we drive this performance from. AI chat is becoming a place where users shape their decisions before they ever click anything, and that has real implications for any digital marketer. Right now, users are already having conversations about your brand and your category on ChatGPT, and you have very limited influence over the message. Now, with ChatGPT ads, you have a chance to join these conversations and control the message. For our partners, this is a brand new opportunity to drive incremental users. ChatGPT ads are, of course, a hot topic, and let's see how this cultural conversation around them has even reached the Super Bowl.
Hey, can I get a six-pack quickly?
Perfect. That is a clear and achievable goal. Would you like me to tailor a personalized workout plan?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me personalize this for you. Let's start with your age, weight, and height. Whenever you're ready.
5'7", 23 years old, 140 pounds.
Got it. I'll create a plan that focuses on aesthetic strength training. But confidence isn't just built in the gym. Try Step Boost Max, the insoles that add 1 vertical inch of height and help short kings stand tall.
What?
Use code HeightMaxing10 for big discounts.
So yeah, it still feels a bit like that, and obviously over time the experiences will shift a bit. But Anthropic's hypothesis, was that ads will drive users away. So far, the data proves otherwise. Over 90% of logged in users see ads, but churn remains stable and engagement remains high. That's because these ads don't interrupt the user experience. They appear at the right moment, giving brands the opportunity to join the conversation without hijacking it. Now that ChatGPT Ads Beta is open for all, we wanted to share our data and insights with you. We spent the last 2 months intensely experimenting with this channel to give you a head start. We were even quoted as a top 3 spender on ChatGPT, so we know what we're talking about. And today, Hila and Jonathan are going to walk you through exactly what we've seen, the numbers, the mechanics, the early lessons, and an honest picture portraying what we know and what we're still learning. So let's dive straight into our agenda for today. We'll introduce this new channel and the fundamental behavior shift behind it. Jonathan Vardy will take us through the underlying mechanics of how it functions. We'll share a breakdown of our initial data and insights. And our special guest, Nancy Harnett from HubSpot, will give us a real brand perspective. And finally, we'll map out what's next and answer some questions. So Hila, our CMO, will get us started. Take it away, Hila.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Yochai, and thank you all for joining us today. Very excited to be here. In our previous webinar, back in November, I spoke at length about how search is fundamentally expanding beyond its traditional boundaries. And today, the shift is hitting the ground. We officially have an additional touch point in the user journey. We now have hard data showing this channel drives real engagement and conversions. And as I see it, this isn't just another line item for your media mix. It's about protecting your entire marketing portfolio. And to do that, we have to tackle 2 things. So one is being top of mind. We all know the old marketing rule of thumb about needing multiple touch points to close a deal. Magic number is 3. Your audience is already seeing you on Meta and YouTube and TikTok, but ChatGPT is where they go to synthesize that research. Advertising here allows us to close the loop on your entire multi-channel strategy. And the second is regaining control. So up until now, AI models have been talking about your brands and categories with practically zero oversight. And this beta is your chance to step in. By controlling the narrative at the final decision-making touchpoint, you stop losing high-intent traffic and directly protect your unit economics. So in short, being top of mind gets you considered, and regaining control ensures you actually own the conversion. To understand why this works, look at how the user behavior is shifting. Traditional search is about finding information. So a user types a keyword, skims link, and clicks. And in that ecosystem, the click is just the start of the research. But chat search is about shaping decisions. So the user explains a nuanced need, and the AI synthesizes the options dynamically. And by the time a user clicks an ad here, they are already highly informed. And the click doesn't start the research, it confirms a decision that's already been made. So because the decision is already primed, the audience mindset here is completely different. On ChatGPT, users are mid-decision, not pre-decision. They are already deep in a relevant conversation, and it's up to us to guide them to the next step. So let's think of it as an intent spectrum, okay? So on one hand, we have dimension, social display traffic. This is low intent traffic with high relevance. Users discover things passively. On the other side of the scale, we have traditional search, high intent and ready to act. And AI chat sits uniquely right in the middle. It captures active consideration. The user is essentially saying, I have this specific problem and I'm actively weighing my option. And the scale here is staggering, right? So ChatGPT alone is seeing over 2.5 billion prompts per day, serving 900 million weekly users. You know what was Google's reach back in 2002 when CPC kicked in? 9 million weekly users. That's 100 times more than Google in 2002, and it's crossing 1 billion global active users. And looking back at the data from 2025, we saw a massive 206% year-over-year growth in AI referral traffic, so the volume is quite mind-blowing. And the bottom line is, potential customers are already talking about your brand and your category inside these chats as we speak and in massive scale. But without advertising, you have practically zero control. You don't know which data sources the AI is pulling from, and you don't know what exactly it is saying to your audience, and you don't know where it is sending your traffic. AI is actively priming and shaping user decisions every single second, but today you can finally leverage it. This alpha turned beta allows you to step in and reclaim ownership of your narrative. And when you regain control over the message, you basically regain control over your unit economics. And this is the core foundation of classic performance marketing, right? But now it's built natively into the most significant new digital channel in decades. So with that, I want to hand it over to Jonathan Vardy to walk you through the precise mechanics of advertising and ChatGPT.
Thank you, Hila. So jumping in can be a little scary at this point because the platform is so new, because it is changing so rapidly. Internally, we joke that it looks like OpenAI is trying to cover the last 20 years of digital advertising in just 20 weeks. It's almost hard to believe that 3 months ago, it had no interface for advertisers, fixed prices, very limited reach. And right now, so many of ChatGPT users and so many conversations have ads. There are multiple ways to run campaigns and to price campaigns, and new features on the advertiser side are being added daily, which can be daunting. I would be remiss to continue any further without actually showing you an ad and telling you a few things about what we see here that are very important from an advertiser perspective. The first one, as Hila said, ads follow answers. Immediately in front, ahead of your ad, the user already received one answer, and potentially this is turn 10 within the conversation. They already just saw 10 different answers before they see this ad of yours. Second, it's winner takes all. It's just one placement per answer. Either you get it or your competition can get it. And thirdly, it's there's no way to scroll forward or see another ad or scroll down. you have that user's attention right before they input the next step of the conversation or favorably click your ad. So this massive reach, to make it a little more concrete, is virtually all ChatGPT users except Pro and Enterprise ones in the US. It's already being rolled out in Canada and Australia as well, with the UK, Japan, and Brazil to follow in coming weeks. So now that there are many more advertisers on the platform and many more conversations we can reach, what makes our own private needle, our own ad, jump out of the huge haystack of all potential ads? So a few key terms of how this works. The one and the most important one is the relevance threshold. How close does the conversation, its meaning, have to be to the ad for it to be surfaced? If it's set too low, then we're showing ads to users that are not interested at all in what you are offering. If it's set too high, then we're missing out on valuable connections. That's a dynamic lever that OpenAI is constantly adjusting and iterating. Second is ad load. How many ads to show a specific user before they may react like that video of the guy who's seen one ad too many at an inappropriate time. These two create the fill rate. How many ads out of all potential answers actually have ads in them? This is what makes OpenAI money. So they're kind of incentivized to set this high while maintaining the other two to be reasonable. And last but certainly not least, context hints. Context hints are your way to indicate to the ad algorithm what conversations you'd like to be in. Spoiler alert, it works without them. They're completely optional. These are not keywords that we target very precisely. These are just hints to help guide the algorithm, but it makes its own decisions based on relevance, first and foremost. So continuing something that we've raised in the previous webinar, the change from classic search to AI search and to chat, from the advertiser perspective, is a change from following queries or specific keywords and into following intents, into following topics, into following what users are trying to achieve at this moment through chat or through search. And that is what, as an advertiser, you're focusing on. There's, at this point, a lot that we already know. It's not the very early days where there was wild speculation but very little fact. We know how ads appear in the context of conversations. We know that users engage with them. We know that users convert based on the ads that they've seen. We've, based on our own investment, seen that both CPM campaigns and CPC campaigns can be viable options for an advertiser and can justify the investment in them. But there's a lot we don't know at present, and some of these we won't know in the future as well. There's almost no visibility on what users are seeing our ads. There's no visibility, and there's going to be no visibility in what was specifically said in the conversation, which triggered our ad. We just know the general topic of it. Attribution is going to be a huge challenge for this channel because there is no insight into who saw ads without clicking them. For us as an affiliate, we need data coming from you, our partners, to close the loops on the users that did click through to the ads in order for us to understand value and to deliver value to you. And of course, because it's such a new channel, nobody has lifetime value metrics yet. Yes, I'm saying that the engagement is good, the conversion is good, but nobody knows how the cohort of users that's coming from ChatGPT is going to look different in a year or two from now. And something that was very important for us to share with you is our approach to building ChatGPT campaigns. We've built over 80 campaigns in 40 different categories till now, and we've developed sort of internal playbook, and we've seen what works and what doesn't work. And the first step in this playbook is to work back from your web assets, and specifically the valuable ones where you actually want users to land, where you actually want them to reach. And we start with each such valuable landing page or topic, and we ask ourselves, okay, this is good for us as an advertiser, but what kind of user intents does it actually address? What kinds of problems does this page actually solve? And we move piece by piece. For example, this part right here, where users can filter, addresses a range of intents, specifically mortgage loan options for different credit scores. Okay, so a mortgage loan option for a good credit score would be an example of an intent this page should address and adds value to users who are interested in that. The next step is to take this very specific addressed intent that we've identified and translate it into ad copy. We want to indicate to users very clearly what they're going to get out of clicking this ad and out of reaching this page. We want to say, okay, you're in a conversation, you've indicated this information. This is something that's good for you to do next in order to advance in solving the problem in the conversation that you're having. Being very specific about a problem that the page solves is, we found, is a great way to drive engagement and to drive conversions. And after we've assembled our set of ads out of this, it actually meets conversations, and it actually, hopefully, solves the actual problems that users surface. We won't be able to see these conversations, but we need to be able to envision specific topics, specific intents that we're addressing. So for the next part, what is our own specific experience as large advertisers on the platform taught us so far? It's been a wild couple of months. And Yochai mentioned Nancy and HubSpot being the largest advertiser on the platform. Our own size is nothing to sneeze at. And once Best Money, our personal finance website, joined the platform in May, we're pretty sure we'll see it on the rankings next. Our ads right now cover many of your categories. Each one that's not here is because OpenAI policy currently doesn't allow it, but it's being expanded over time. Hopefully you can find your category here on the board right now. And we can tell you that it works. I mentioned the two types of campaigns that exist now on the platform. Like any CPM versus CPC campaign, they are meant for different goals. And like Hila mentioned, chat's unique position in the middle of the intent spectrum means that it's both relevant for CPC and relevant for CPM, and OpenAI recognizes that. A CPM campaign is a great way to enter more conversations that are about you. If that's your goal, to increase awareness in these very relevant contexts, it works great. However, attribution, as I've mentioned, is very difficult. It can only be measured in the aggregate and not directly for specific users. The engagement there, the ad CTR, even though it's a CPM campaign, is still significant. It still drives visits, and you can learn from these visitors something about the people who saw your ads. It's closest in how it works to other CPM-centered platforms, demand generation on social, display, or native. Conversely, CPC campaigns are about directly driving performance, classic performance marketing. The impacts are directly measurable. The ad CTR is significantly higher there, and it's closest in its behavior to paid search. Now, I'm not just saying it, we've measured it. We saw that CPM ads drive engagement after the users clicked on them, very, very close, almost the same as ads on Meta platforms. Conversely, CPC ads showed engagement, users coming from CPC ads showed engagement that's much closer to what we see on Bing paid search. And it's still some ways off from Google paid search, but we believe that with optimization over time, it will close some of this gap. And ads are super important because they connect your web assets to conversations. That's the way to think about them. The chat already gave the users a lot of information, a lot of context. Now, your ad, in order to add value, doesn't provide more information. It provides a specific action that the user can take next to advance what they're currently focused on. And in recognition of this, the kinds of angles that we saw perform best in ChatGPT ads are ads that are specific, that are very clear on what the user is going to get or what specific price the user is going to see. That transitions from the very general language that chat usually uses and now tells the users this is something real, this is something tangible. Similarly, emphasizing how recent something is. It's for this year, it's for this month, it's for this holiday. Tells your users this is not some outdated AI hallucination. This is something that's real now. And lastly, and probably not a surprise, people like freebies and people on ChatGPT also like them. And phrasing your intent as something, emphasizing the free aspects, what the user gets at no cost on your landing page, whether it's a quote or a guide or a how-to, is something that users really resonate with and makes them click and makes them move out of the chat and into your site. And since it's very rapid, we want to be very frank with you. Yeah, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly of ChatGPT ads. Hopefully everyone recognizes the reference. So the good parts, regaining control in conversations about you, about your brand, about your category. Yes, it is possible to drive performance out of it, and prices are currently low, at least until every advertiser in the world joins the platform. There is definitely the possibility, and we lean into it, to capitalize on early mover advantages, to collect data at this point that that will give you an enduring advantage over advertisers that joined later. Moving on to the bad. Yes, you're joining conversations, but you don't know what's been said in them. You just heard a word or two, you have some context hint at best, and you're trying to contribute to the discussion. Targeting is currently very limited, but it will improve over the time. Attribution, however, the other bad, will continue to be a massive challenge for all CPM campaigns going forward. And the ugly bits. Because it's changing and evolving so rapidly, it requires a lot of work, a lot of monitoring, a lot of use of external tools, a lot of utilizing your own data to make sure it stays on track and not trying to do something that worked last week but doesn't work anymore. And yes, a lot of the capabilities we're used to as marketers don't exist on this platform yet. New features are being added. The pace is very rapid, but joining the platform right now is to a comparatively limited platform. And because Nancy is so modest, I thought that before I hand over to you, I'll emphasize once again, what you'll hear from her is from the largest advertiser on the platform. So take it away, Nancy.
Thank you very much. Hey everyone, I'm Nancy. I lead global growth partnerships at HubSpot. And earlier this year, we were among the first B2B brands to run paid ads on ChatGPT. I'm going to share what we learned across 4 areas: whether the channel is driving incremental value, how we're thinking about success, what we found out about the user journey, and ultimately whether I'd recommend other brands to try it or not. Firstly, incremental value. Chat users feel different from traditional search audiences. They're asking fuller, more contextual questions rather than typing keywords, which gives a clearer signal about what they're actually trying to accomplish. The audience skews towards people that are actively researching and learning, which has proven to be a better fit for certain types of offers than others. That said, the honest answer on incrementality is that we just don't fully know yet. We don't have a clean read on how many of these users are net new versus people we are already reaching through other channels. That's one of the most important questions we're still working to answer. And my advice to anyone testing this channel would be to build that measurement from day one. How we measure success is we've generated meaningful conversion volume and learned a lot in a short window. On pure efficiency metrics, chat currently runs at a higher cost per acquisition than mature channels like Google Search, which is expected for any new platform in an early testing phase. We're measuring success right now more on the signal quality and the learnings than hitting benchmark CPAs. Down funnel data is still maturing, so we're very cautious about drawing any strong conclusions just yet. For the user journey, we focus more on the ad layer than the destination, at least initially. That meant testing a wide range of offers and landing pages to understand what resonates with the chat audience and iterating on copy, length, and messaging. The bigger learning was that the ad to query relevance matters a lot on this platform. Alignment between what someone is asking and what your ad says is more important here than in your traditional search. The brands winning in the ad slot appear to be those whose messaging naturally fit into the conversation. And lastly, would I recommend you trying ChatGPT ads? Ultimately, yes. But I think you need to go in with a learning mindset and not an efficiency one. The platform is early. Targeting controls are very limited, and the pricing model works differently from what most paid teams are used to. Start broad across offers and themes to gather data quickly. Watch for the intent mismatch and then make sure that your creative complements the context of a conversational response rather than just repurposing your Google search copy. The short version, it's definitely worth being in the room early. Just know what you're trying to learn before you spend anything.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for sharing your brand's perspective and raw insights from being a very first mover on this platform. It's quite impressive. So what's next? Looking ahead, this landscape is expanding at breakneck speed, moving quickly past the early foundational stages, and we're seeing a rapid rollout across three massive pillars. So first, more categories entering the space. Just a couple of weeks ago, we officially saw financial services join the party, and health is slated as the next major category. And personally, I think that the fact that OpenAI is actively unlocking these specific spaces, which are highly regulated, deeply personal, and bound by strict compliance, is a massive testament to the technical confidence and maturity that they have built during the alpha stage. Second, more ad formats. So Jonathan talked about it earlier. Behind the scenes, the ad load, the semantic relevance threshold, and the native visual formats are constantly being tested. OpenAI is relentlessly fine-tuning the balance to ensure that as ad volume scales, user engagement remains solid and stable. And third, more campaign types. So much more sophisticated campaign types ahead. Until now, we've been scaling on standard CPM and CPC models, but as the platform matures, advanced automated bidding frameworks like TCPA and TROAS are actively on the horizon. And this means increased efficiency is on the way, giving us the exact machine learning levers we need to optimize directly for your bottom line acquisition costs and revenue targets. This rapid maturation proves that the window to capture an affordable first mover footprint is now, before these advanced efficiency models go live and the broader market floods in. Think about it this way. Back in 2002, when Google AdWords was just getting off the ground, do you know what was the average CPC? About 5 cents. And today, it's easily 60 times that. The early days of a massive new channels are always the most affordable. And if you wait until everything is perfectly optimized, you're going to pay a massive premium for the exact same real estate. The window to establish your footprint cost effectively is now. And when you look at it through the lens of performance marketing, standard advertising is really just step one. To truly own the user journey inside ChatGPT, we have to look beyond the ad unit itself. We need to be where the actual utility lives. That's why our roadmap with OpenAI goes much deeper than standard placements. We're actively building custom experiences directly into the ecosystem. And today, I'm incredibly excited to share our first major step in that direction. We've just officially launched our brand new car insurance app, the first of its kind, directly inside ChatGPT. So apps inside chats are a total shift in how we engage users. Instead of just showing them a static link, we're providing a true interactive utility at the exact millisecond they need a solution. This car insurance app is just our first blueprint moving forward. Our plan is to build and launch additional apps featuring you, our partners, so we can weave your brands directly into the native decision-making journey. And now, just as an FYI, for our financial services partners, insurance, banking, and lending, OpenAI just announced the preview rollout of a native personal finance experience in ChatGPT. Over 200 million users already use the platform monthly for financial advice, but now they can securely connect their actual bank accounts, cards, and loans to a unified dashboard. Powered by GPT 5.5, ChatGPT will now reason through complex financial data to help users evaluate products and plan big life decisions in real time. Crucial note here, no ads are currently live for pro users in this preview, but this officially transforms ChatGPT into a central command center for financial decisions. It is the ultimate high intent real estate, and by joining the party now, in my opinion, you'll be better positioned to capture this unique inventory if and when ads are rolled out to pro users as well. So just to summarize what's ahead, more ad formats, more campaign types, more categories, and a lot more optimization. Connected apps will become more prominent, and in-chat experiences are going to go much deeper. Thank you all for listening. It was a pleasure. And with that, I'll hand it back over to Yochai to take us through the Q&A part.
Thanks a lot, Hila. Great stuff. Over the past few months, we've been receiving quite a few questions about our experiences in ChatGPT ads, and we'd like to share a few of them here. Actually, we've also been receiving a few questions right here on the webinar, so we'll see how much time we have, but let's try to get as many as we can. So let's get started. Is this incremental reach or just a new touch point for existing audiences? Nancy, you want to take this one?
Sure thing. Sounds good. Honestly, I don't think we have a definitive answer yet, and I think we should be cautious of anyone who claims that they do at this stage. What we can say is that the intent profile of chat users feels distinct enough from traditional search that there is a reasonable case for incrementality. But what we're building towards like a more proper measurement before drawing any conclusions. It's one of the most important questions that we're trying to answer. And we encourage any brand testing this channel to make it a priority from day one rather than an afterthought.
Thanks a lot, Nancy. Next question. How big of a role should this channel have in my marketing strategy? Hila, this one's all yours.
Perfect. I've been waiting to say it. So first of all, that's a great question. And to be completely honest, it depends on your specific objectives. As Jonathan mentioned, advertising on ChatGPT requires both agility and patience right now, and you should treat it as a strategic incubator, let's say. And because of that, you shouldn't base your entire marketing portfolio or your baseline revenue targets around it just yet. However, right now is the absolute best timing to build your initial footprint. Every dollar you invest right now is accelerating your learning curve before the rest of the market floods in. You're figuring out now creative angles, the intent mapping, and the unit economics ahead of the curve while CPCs are still low. So I advise that if your objective is first mover dominance and securing an early advantage, allocate a dedicated testing budget to lean in. And ultimately, it's yours to decide how fast to scale based on your brand's appetite for innovation.
Great stuff. Thank you, Hila. What are the big pitfalls to avoid on this channel? How could it go wrong? Vardy, enlighten us, Jonathan.
Yeah, as someone who's seen it go wrong a fair number of times and go right a fair number of times, I think that the biggest pitfalls are treating this channel as something that it's not. It's not precisely either search or display or social. So trying to recycle, as Nancy said, something from another platform and expecting it to perform as much is the first pitfall to avoid. Another pitfall is to think of it as a mature platform while it is not, or an optimized platform while it still isn't. Um, this means that things that work now may work differently in just a week or two, and you need to be very mindful of that as you go in. It needs experimentation and it needs diversification. It's not something that one trick is going to solve for you and will enduringly solve for you going forward. It does take a lot more work than more mature and established platforms. So in addition to the budget that Hila mentioned, I would say that you need to allocate an attention budget to it in order while going in. So the biggest pitfall would be not to recognize either of these as you're going in.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Next question. Should I be working with affiliates on ChatGPT ads? If you're asking me, yes, and I can probably also recommend one strong affiliate to work with. But I might be a bit biased. Let's let Nancy answer this.
Yeah, maybe a bit biased, but I think potentially yes. But honestly, you need to put some guardrails in place. The opportunity is real if affiliates are contemplating your brand's presence in chat rather than competing with it or cannibalizing what you're already doing. And ultimately, that's what we did with natural intelligence. The risk is if we lose control of the messaging in an environment where there is only one ad slot per response, the winner takes all, and the brand unsafe or offsite strategy content showing up there is harder to walk back. Think of it as less of should affiliates be here and more as what role should affiliates play where we can't or we shouldn't play ourselves. If that role is like clearly defined, I think it can work really, really well.
Amazing. Thank you, Nancy. Do we have time for one more question? I think we do. Let's try to take a question from the audience here in the webinar. This is in reference to a slide that we showed earlier. How many of those 900 million belong to keywords that compete with Google? Meaning, it's people that are looking to buy a service, but instead of searching on Google, they searched on ChatGPT. Do you have data on that? Hila, you want to take this?
Yeah, sure. So basically, what we do know, okay, and there's a lot we don't. What we do know is that the length of the average, if we can call it query, in ChatGPT is much longer. So that's one aspect. Second aspect is the fact that as ChatGPT scaled, we saw that Google's market share has dropped slightly, I would say, from like 80% to 79, 78, but their revenue and active users and engagement metrics are all up. And that's why we can say for a fact that search is expanding. Now, what exactly is the portion of this 900 million? And if they would go to Google instead of ChatGPT, or what's exactly the overlap? I can't say, but I can say that they're coming into ChatGPT again with a different mindset. So it's a crucial touch point in their journey, and it might be a different audience. We'll see, maybe in a couple of weeks' time. But that's a huge chunk of traffic.
Thank you so much, Hila. Okay, heading into the final stretch here and thanking everyone for bearing with us so far. And I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. A special thank you again to Nancy for sharing HubSpot's experience with ChatGPT ads. It certainly brought a lot of valuable context from the brand side. We entered this channel early so that moments like today could happen, to share real data, real lessons, and give you a genuine head start. I hope you're leaving with something actionable. We'll see you all next at Affiliate Summit East. We'd love to continue our discussion with you then, but in the meantime, don't hesitate to reach out to your business development manager with any questions you may have. So thank you all again and enjoy the rest of your day.